Hello and welcome back to the Author Roundup, a special segment of the Book Connection Show where we meet up and coming indie authors and talk to them about the recently released books. Welcome to another episode of the Book Connection Show. Again, this is Ray Walters. Today, we highlight a work born from over 30 years of dedication and reflection, spiritual reflection, a biography of Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah. Our guest is a spiritual advisor and visionary who has spent decades guiding others through faith, serving on men's spiritual retreats within the Catholic Church for more than 35 years. It's my privilege to introduce the author of the book titled Jesus of Nazareth, C.C. Martin. Welcome to the show, C.C.
Thank you very much, Ray. That's a very nice introduction. I'm very happy to be a part of your show. It's a great privilege to be interviewed so that the world can get to know this the beautiful work, this beautiful book about Jesus of Nazareth that I hope we will go to the ends of the earth and be a benefit to many, many people.
Well, first off, CC, congratulations on getting this book published with Ex Libris. This came out August just this year, right?
Yes.
Right. And well, we've just for our viewers and listeners to know, I've been corresponding with you, trying to get you to say yes to our invitation to be part or as a guest of our show. And finally, we're here. You came from a pilgrimage, right? From Spain?
That's correct. I just came back from a spiritual pilgrimage where I was leading some 20 spiritual pilgrims across northern Spain. It's the oldest pilgrimage in the world, more than 1,000 years old, where devout people walk for days and days, sometimes for months, in spiritual pilgrimage to St. James in Galicia, northern Spain. So this was the sixth time that I have done this pilgrimage, leading groups of pilgrims on a spiritual pilgrimage. And it is always a thrill and an honor to be able to take pilgrims on this great pilgrimage to the site of the tomb of the Apostle St. James.
Let's see. Well, CC, again, I'm very much excited to start this conversation with you. So let's talk about the book that you have just published, Jesus of Nazareth. Can you please tell us about it?
Okay. This book is a complete life story of the historical person known as Jesus of Nazareth, from the day he was born until the day he died. In this book, each year of his life is detailed along with his major teachings, which includes the epic Sermon on the Mount, the most powerful, inspirational of all of his teachings. In addition, the book also contains much information about his parents, Mother Mary and Father Joseph, and the life they lived in the village of Nazareth in northern Palestine. The purpose of this book is to bring to life the real man as he lived it on earth as a son of God.
Yes, CC. So what inspired the idea for this book?
Well, early on, as I began to develop my spirituality, my love of God, I realized that no book had ever been written about the complete life story of Jesus of Nazareth.
Mm-hmm.
I could read thousands, maybe even millions of articles and books that have been written in the last 2,000 years, but none of them wrote his life story beginning to end. Theologians for 2,000 years have tried to interpret what he said. The fact that he did not leave any writings has only added to the confusion about his teachings. So this book reveals his teachings in his own words, so that all people on earth can find peace, comfort, and joy in the teachings of the greatest man who ever lived. He was not just a great prophet, he truly was the Son of God.
CC, during the introduction, I mentioned that it took you 30 years to write this book. Can you share anecdotes of that writing experience? And out of curiosity, I would want to know, why did it take you that long to complete this book?
Okay. Um, yes, it took way over 30 years to compile all of this information. Well, first of all, starting with the Bible,
Mm.
a lot of people wrote things about him in the Bible, but it was all secondhand, and none of the information was directly came from him. It came from other people, what you would call hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to start with that, and then I had to research as many documents, books, articles that I could find that would lead me to the real source, to what he had actually said. Uh, and in the process of all of that research,
Mm.
Mother Mary started visiting me. She started appearing to me here in this very study where I'm sitting. From 1994 to 2004, she appeared to me many times and gave me information about their life in Nazareth, and about Jesus and the early years of his life, and how her life with Joseph. On occasion, she also brought Joseph along with her, and he
Mm.
appeared here and gave me a lot of information about their family. Um, those were very inspirational times, and they led me to a lot of information that I felt that I needed to research. I went to the Vatican Library and started picking up as many articles as I could from the Vatican Library. They have literally tens of thousands of articles, probably more like, I think, a quarter of a million articles that are available to be researched. There's a lot of information in the Vatican Library that never made it into the Bible. It is beautiful information, wonderful, very inspiring, and that was the time-consuming part of it. That getting articles, researching articles, ordering more articles, reading as much as I possibly could from every source that I could find. That's what took more than 30 years to write. It was really a very, very intense effort. It
Mm.
took thousands of hours of research and reading and rereading to be able to compile all of the information and to try to make it as accurate as I possibly could. I didn't
Mm.
want to put something out on the street that was a complete fabrication. It had to be backed up as much as possible.
Wow, 30 years for you to complete it. CC, within that 30 years of trying to complete this book, of researching, of traveling as well, because you mentioned you've been to the Vatican to do your research. Can you please tell our viewers and listeners about what's the fun part in writing this book? This is a two-part question because the second one's going to be about the most challenging part in writing this book.
Okay. Well, I consider the most fun part of writing the book is discovering the wit, the wisdom, the humor of Jesus, the real man walking the streets everywhere that he went in around the Levant and around the Mediterranean. He
Mm.
did quite a bit of traveling, and he was never shy on words about talking to the common man on the street. Everywhere he went, he would stop and talk to people, uh, laborers, Roman soldiers, teachers, uh, all of the common people on the street that he would run into. He always had words of wisdom, and some of those words were very, very enlightening and really you get the feel for the real person. You get the feel for the real man. And yes, he was the Son of God, but he was also a real person, a real man with humor, with love, with encouragement for all the people that he met on the street.
See, so what's the most challenging um, in writing this book?
Well, the real challenge, the most difficult part, was the time consuming getting all of the information, getting as much information as I possibly could, uh, searching, researching, waiting for documents, reading the documents over and over and over to get the real essence of his public addresses.
Mhm.
The most time spent in the book, probably 80% of the time spent on the book, was in the public ministry. His
Mhm.
teachings, which were absolutely beautiful, powerful messages, like uh, the teachings that he gave to the apostles, and he not only had apostles walking by his side all the time, he had some 100 Greek followers and followers from a lot of other countries
All right.
who followed him around because they realized that he was a very important man, that he was truly a son of God, and they wanted to learn as much as they could from him. So they would follow him everywhere and learn his teaching. So the difficult thing was in putting all of that, all of those writings that have been left behind, putting them all into a context, into modern language, and putting them into a concept, a view of a man speaking to the people, not only a man, but a son of God speaking to the people. And I couldn't make it sound like a politician standing up on a pedestal talking. It had to have a feel for the spirituality of
Mhm.
the man, and he was what he was trying to convey, what he was trying to teach to the people.
Well, what's the nicest feedback you've ever received so far? Your book came out August this year, so that was just a couple of months back. So, what feedback or review have you received so far?
Well, yeah. So far, all of the reviews that I have received from the people that I've given these books to, actually, these books are so new that
Mhm.
I ordered enough to pass around to a lot of people everywhere, and all of my friends from all over the place. And the feedback I've been getting is that they really are enjoying the books. They're amazing, enlightening story of Jesus.
Mhm.
Because thus far the only real um, information that most of them have been receiving was obviously in church or from theologians telling them what they think what they think Jesus said. And so for the very first time, they feel that they're actually reading the actual words of Jesus of Nazareth without needing a theologian to interpret for them what they think he said.
Mhm. That's very nice. Now, let's talk about, well, some of our viewers and listeners are probably on an attempt to write their first book. So, what advice would you give to our viewers and listeners on that regard?
Um, well, my advice for any writers, anybody wanting to write a book, I believe that first you have to have a passion for the subject.
Mhm.
If the passion is there, the words will flow. For me, the passion was I wanted to write a book about the real Jesus of Nazareth. I wanted to introduce the real Jesus of Nazareth to the world, and that was my passion. So if
Mhm.
the passion is there, the words will flow. But if you write a book without any passion for the subject, I think your book is going to be flat and meaningless.
Mhm.
So if you have a deep passion about something, write about it, and you will be successful.
CC, the year is about to end, and 2025 is just around a corner. A couple of nights from now, we will bid goodbye to 2024. So, as this year is closing, what personal and professional goals are you envisioning to have as that year approaches? And also to close this short but sweet interview, I would also like to ask for a final message. And also, do
Okay.
not forget to let us know where we can get a copy of your book, especially for those who are very interested to grab one.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Well, my goal for year 2025, I'm hoping that it will be a very exciting year. I hope to go to the ends of the earth to introduce the real Jesus to the world through this book and the help of Ex Libris, the publisher.
Mm.
I'm hoping that this book will find its way to the ends of the earth and so that people for the very first time can get to know the real Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of God, the man who came to planet Earth to uplift the races and to be a beacon of hope, peace, and love for all humanity. As you know, the world is in deep hurt. We have so many problems all over the world because uh, uh, people cannot get along. Countries are starting wars for very little reason whatsoever, and so there has never been a more important time in the history of Earth that the true message of Jesus of Nazareth is so necessary. Um, he truly is a beacon of hope, peace, and love for all humanity. If you will read this book, you will come to realize uh, his message, his beautiful message that he had for the world, and how to live together, how to get along, and live together in peace and help each other instead of antagonize each other and start wars. My final message for this video is to let you readers know about the four books that I put on the market through Ex Libris. The Jesus of Nazareth was only the last book because the entire journey of my writing was to let you know of all of the events that occurred in preparation for Jesus of Nazareth coming into the planet Earth. Uh, the first book that I wrote is called The Father's Universe. It details the seven planes of the universe. The material plane was the last plane created, and it is the plane that we live on. The material plane was created as a training ground to learn spiritual lessons in a very difficult setting. The second plane in the universe is the plane of forces, the natural laws and forces of the universe, such as gravity, magnetism, electricity, radio waves. They all reside on this plane all at the same time, and we can feel all of them, but we cannot see them. They're invisible to humans, but they exist alongside of us. We cannot see them because they vibrate at a much higher frequency than our eyes can see. These forces are used by extraterrestrials to enable them to travel throughout the universe. The third plane of the universe is the plane of spirits, a very, very important plane. This is where we came from and where we will return after mortal death. Angels and other very high spirits reside on this plane. In the plane of spirits is a region called the Book of Life. In this book, you can see and hear everything that has ever happened on planet Earth during its entire history. Nothing has been lost to history. Everything is recorded and exists in this book called the Book of Life. Much of the information about Jesus of Nazareth was derived from the Book of Life through the help of hundreds of angels who led me by the hand so that I could witness, I could see, and I could sit at the feet of Jesus and listen to his teachings. You can read about the Book of Life in chapter 4 of the book called The Father's Universe. The second book of the set is the story of Adam and Eve, two beings from the heavenly realms who were sent down to planet Earth to quicken and uplift the 8 races of evolutionary man who was already on the planet. The red man, the black man, the yellow man are 3 of the original races of man, of evolutionary man. The white man is not a race, but a mixture of 3 other races. Adam and Eve were not the first man and first woman on earth. They were sent to prepare the races for the arrival of the Son of God, Jesus of Nazareth. The appearance of these 2 beings was approximately 35,000 years ago in the Garden of Eden, which is now submerged under the eastern Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Turkey. The third book is called Melchizedek, the Angel of the Lord. The only time in the history of planet Earth that an angel was allowed to become human and live on Earth as a normal person. He appeared on Earth 4,000 years ago, or 2,000 years before the Son of God. His mission was to prepare the way for the arrival of Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of God. And even to this day, when a priest in the Catholic Church is ordained, the rites state, he shall remain a priest forever in the ways of Melchizedek. That is how important Melchizedek is to the spirituality of this world. And of course, the fourth book, finally, is the arrival of the Son of God, Jesus of Nazareth, 2,000 years ago. These 4 books comprise the entire spiritual journey, evolution, and history on planet Earth. And I felt that all 4 of these books needed to be written. First of all, I needed to set the stage for the coming of Jesus of Nazareth. Before I could write the book about Jesus, I had to set the stage so that people would understand that the arrival of Jesus, the planned bestowal of the Son of God to this planet Earth began many, many thousands of years ago, not just when he arrived 2,000 years ago.
Well, Cece, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. So thank you so much for discussing your book with us.
Thank you, Ray, and may the peace of God be with you and with all people on this Christmas Advent season, waiting for the birth of Jesus. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you so much, Cece, for saying yes to our invitation and for gracing the show. I also want to give a big shout out to our awesome viewers and listeners for joining us for this interview. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations on the Book Connection Show. I'm Ray Walters. Join me next time as we explore the world of self-supported publishing, one indie author at a time.